Hey guys, Kaiju here. Today we're going to be doing another Kaiju review, and it's over the asteroid monster, Drengeran. I think that's probably how you pronounce his name, but either way, this is the space ore monster. The first one ever fought by Ultraman Neos. And not the first space ore monster, but the first monster in general that Ultraman Neos ever fought in the pilot episode of his series. With that little bit of history out of the way for this bizarre looking monster, let's get right into the detail of him. Now, of course, as you've already noticed, Drengeran is a rock kaiju, essentially. He's made out of minerals from space that are controlled by alien Zamu. And I would say, out of the monsters I've reviewed recently, detail shines best on this guy. The crystals on him look fantastic. Everywhere you look, he's covered in them, they're all painted, and they look really, really good. Of course, there is some paint scuffing up here, but that's just because this is a used copy of the figure. It's not something that's necessarily the figure's fault, just more the fact that it's been played with over time. The only thing I'm not too big on when it comes to paint is that the teeth up here have not at all been painted, but the eyes, the horns, and everything else has a lot of good paint detail on it. In terms of accuracy, it's pretty good too. The only thing that I think could have been better is the neck could have been a little bit thinner or longer, or possibly both. But other than that, really, really great accuracy too. And for the detail on him, he doesn't come with a lot of articulation. That's sadly the only thing that's kind of wrong with him. His neck cannot really move 360. I'm sure that if you put in the elbow grease, you could probably make it, but I don't want to because it kind of feels like it's going to break the figure. His tail, on the other hand, can do a very smooth, solid 360 rotation, but like his neck, his arms cannot, rotate 360. They can maybe get close, but I would say the crystals on his shoulders would probably get in the way. They're also very stiff. Articulation, sadly, of course, because, he's a giant rock, is pretty limited. But let's get into sizing for this guy, and there's a few monsters I have that, would look okay next to him, not only because, they're other weird-looking Ultraman monsters, but because they're also from the show he's from, such as Galberos. Despite, Drengeran being the first one that Ultraman Neos ever fought, Galberos is probably the most famous of all of the Ultraman Neos monsters, and I would say they look okay next to each other. Kind of weird to say these are from the exact same show, because upon first viewing, you would definitely think this is probably one of the older Ultraman monsters, or maybe something from a more lighthearted series like Mibius or something like that. And I don't have an Ultraman Neos figure, but I do have other Ultramen that could compare next to him, which is Ultra 7, which I need to kind of readjust my camera for, because sadly, Drengeran is quite a small kaiju figure. Unlike the excuse of Galberos to where he's hunched over, this guy is quite short, which is not accurate to how the show is. He's actually quite taller than the Ultra Brothers. So sadly, yeah, compared to Ultraman or any other Ultras, yeah, he's quite short. And because I don't have any other Ultraman Neos monsters, I will show him next to another kind of space rock kaiju, such as Space Godzilla. They do look pretty good next to each other. Of course, they're both made out of space minerals, so that makes sense. And that's the review I have for Drengeran here. Overall, I would say that it's a fairly nice Bandai figure. If anything, the detail on this guy looks really good, and he's a really unique looking monster, which is a big reason why I bought him. So I would say that if you think the exact same way I do, and think that, he's as unique looking as I imagine he is, then yeah, pick him up for a decent price. I would say nothing over $30 to $40 is worth it. So thank you all for watching this Kaiju review, and I'll see you all in the next one.